Hey everyone, welcome back to Be the Hope. Here we are, Thursday of the fourth week of Easter. We're still celebrating this beautiful Easter season. Praise be to God. I hope that all of you have been having just such a wonderful week. It's been the ultimate Star Wars week, as I mentioned yesterday. You had the May the 4th be with you. I celebrated with $1.75 tacos on Tuesday. Yesterday was Revenge of the 6th. I haven't figured out something for the 7th, but stay tuned because I'm hoping I can come up with something. Anyways, today I want to take a little bit of time and reflect on the gospel reading, this act that Jesus does in the gospel reading, but also a couple of big terms here, humility and love. I'm going to talk a little bit about those in light of this gospel reading, and it's particularly the first part of the gospel reading where Jesus just finishes up washing his disciples' feet, right? And he makes it known that he truly is the master, but through his actions, right? He was serving others. Right? He washed the feet of Judas, the one that he knew that was going to betray him. He still loved him and served him, right? And in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 45, the verse reads that Jesus came not to be served. Like, I came not to be served, but to serve others. Right? Jesus came not to be served, but to serve others. And we get that beautiful image here in the gospel reading where Jesus came to serve, right? He humbled himself and he washed his disciples' feet. Despite the fact that he knew that Judas was going to betray him, that Peter was going to deny him, right? Jesus still bends down and washes their feet and says, this is the act of service and I love you, right? Even those that are going to deny me, those who are going to be betraying me, I love you. Now, before we go any farther, I want to illustrate what love means, right? In the Christian world, right, in the Christian sense, love does not solely mean romantic feelings, right? It doesn't mean those romantic, sexualized feelings. Love, at the truest sense, is to will the good of the other, to do things so that you are willing the good of the other. And in doing that, you are humbling yourself to any sort of anger, any sort of frustration, or maybe even any sort of unforgiveness that you may have towards that person. Truly, when you love someone, you are willing their good. Jesus, in this instant, when he's washing the disciples' feet, he's willing their good by illustrating for them what it means to serve one another. And ultimately, the perfect form of love was done on the cross, right? He then suffered and died. He willed the good of everyone else so that their sins may be forgiven, despite the fact that he knew that you and I would fail and sin over and over and over again. He did it as a servant. He did it out of love. And so my challenge for you today, maybe just a point to ponder, is is there anything in your life that's maybe preventing you from loving someone, or that's maybe preventing you from acting in a sense of humility? I'm not saying that you have to physically wash somebody's feet. It's a beautiful act to be able to wash someone's feet. If you've never partaken in something where you've washed another person's feet, it's a very eye-opening experience, and you truly get to experience some sort of humility, a deeper sense of humility that you've never done before. Because remember, humility isn't thinking of yourself less, it's thinking of yourself as the Lord created you to be, not more, not less. Thinking exactly of how the Lord created you. And that's what Jesus did, right? Jesus knows that he is the master, but he also knows that he came to serve and not to be served. So in that moment of his washing the feet, he's acting in exactly how how God the Father created him to be, to serve. And to serve in humility, to serve according to his gifts and what he came to do, just as we are called to serve according to our gifts. But we're also called to love. We're called to love one another. It doesn't matter who it is, we're called to love everyone, right? We can't see Christ in somebody if we aren't willing to love them. And I can guarantee that every single one of us have had moments where we've maybe held on to anger or frustration or even unforgiveness towards someone or a group of people. But I will be the first to tell you that when we harbor those emotions, right? When we harbor those emotions against someone and against, or even a group of people, or even against God, we aren't living a life in the resurrection, one, but we aren't able to show love. We aren't able to spread and show love to everyone that we meet because we are called to literally love everyone that we come in contact with. And so maybe this illustration of Jesus washing his disciples' feet, maybe it's a point of reflection for us as what are some areas in our lives where we could be better servants, right? Maybe some areas in our lives where we can go out and serve others and to love others in the purest form, right? To will their good, to encourage them despite maybe being angry or frustrated or having unforgiveness towards them. That's the ultimate means of what it means to serve God the Almighty, right? To serve the Master is to spread love. Because that's the greatest commandment that he gave us, was to show love and to love one another as he has loved us. And so Jesus, this humble servant, washes Judas the betrayer's feet. I encourage all of us, and maybe challenge all of us, to think of the Judas in our life. Maybe it's someone or maybe it's something that is preventing us from going to the cross and living in the resurrection with Jesus and living out a life of love. Who is the Judas, maybe towards us? Or maybe we are the Judas to someone. And how can we then go forth to spread the love, right? To spread his love. Because when we spread his love, when we spread love and willing the good of the other, we're ultimately serving the Master, the capital M Master. We're serving the one who created us. Because then our eyes are fixed on Jesus and not on the emotions that we may be harboring towards someone. So it's my encouragement for you today. May the Lord continue to bless you and keep you throughout this time. It's been a struggle, I know, but know that we love you and that we're praying for you, and we can't wait to see you soon. God bless.